Welcome back to WDRB Media, the voice of your community, giving you double the information and inspiration. If you're just not tuning in, you're listening to A New Day. And I'm your host, Juicy J. And on the phone I have
Mr. Bay.
And today we're talking about unity in the community and stopping the violence within our school systems. So, Mr. Bay, you want to piggyback a little bit on what you talked about in the first segment?
Yeah, well, I wanted to talk about, we all know about this problem that we face in the community, but I want to just focus on the solution aspect. And one of the main things that, as I was listening to the victim's parents, who was the young man who was killed, talking about what the school could have done, to curb the situation.
Right.
This was a situation that was building. The children had already had a fight.
About 2 weeks prior.
Right. And so they knew there were students in the school that kind of knew that it wasn't over. Yet, none of the teachers stepped up. None of the students either too. We gotta kind of hold the students accountable to a degree because they know more than the teachers do. And when you got that kind of information, somebody may have a gun in a school or something like that as a child, as a high school, what do you do in that type of situation? What do you do in a type of situation where you may have a friend or someone in school that, you see a situation about to escalate and you just sit back and watch? Or do you step up and, try to get some help or isolate the situation so that it doesn't go further and nobody gets hurt? And so I guess one of the things that I would like to see, I reckon, because we both have students in the CMS public schools, for one, I definitely think they need to have metal detectors in all schools, especially high school, middle school students.
Well, I think, before we even go to the metal detector part, because, of course, they'll want to say, well, that's money and the finances, and the county doesn't have the money or the resources to put them in the school. So I think that one of the things that you said was that some of the students need to be held accountable as well. And I think that right now we're in this age where nobody wants to be that quote-unquote tattletale, and no one wants to be a leader. Everybody, it seems like there's so many followers that it's nobody that's really wanting to step up to be a leader to say, you know what, hey, this is not the right thing. Like, why don't y'all work it out? It's like it's almost like it's no mediation between anybody in the school, whether it be the students or whether it be the teachers. Because, we've experienced firsthand that, some of these teachers act like they're scared of these students and they don't want to say anything to them. So they don't say anything as well. So, a lot of the teachers, they know more of what's going on than what they portray to know, because majority of them are nosy, especially the women teachers. They want to be in everybody's business and they want to know who was doing what with whom and what. So they know, but because of their own fear, they don't speak up. So it's really like almost a whole building that can be held accountable for this misfortune that happened at the school during this time. Because one thing that the parent of the young man that was killed, the mom made a very good point, and it's like she was reading my mind, is the fact that they'll send you 1,000 voicemails about what they have going on in the school system. And because between your phone and my phone, how many calls will we get with the what is that? The calling post. But the calling post, that they'll receive, that we'll receive about what's going on, whether or not it's a meeting or X, Y, and Z. But then it's like when it comes for the children, nobody has any information. There's no reason why that mom was calling that school and she didn't know what was going on with her child, because nobody was answering the phone.
Yes.
I think that's a problem. That's a major problem.
Well, who knows? I don't know if there was enough time for them to actually figure out who the student was or whatever. So,
but they sent them to the hospital, so they knew who it was. He was at the hospital. The mom is headed to the school. So you mean to tell me throughout the course of that time, nobody thought to call that parent to say, hey, your child is being rushed to whatever medical facility that they took their young man to? There's no way that you could tell me that. And the reason why is because, okay, one of our sons, slight anger management issues at times, and every time he get into a fight, they call. They know exactly who it is at that point. So with that information, because and then again, let's take it a step further. The children knew who were fighting. So the first thing that they do is they'll say, who caused this ruckus? Children talk then. Oh, it was X, Y, and Z. So at that point, those parents should have been contacted emergently. She shouldn't have had to try to call Charlotte-Mecklenburg County Police Department, and they got to transfer her over to Matthews Police Department, and she's trying to be en route to come to try to find out what's going on with her child, and the whole time her child is laying up in the hospital by himself.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. However, we weren't there. We could just only speculate off the information that was given, but I do agree, there does need to be apparently a better protocol in place for the parents to be able to get access to their children if an emergency situation where they're not, held captive in a sense. I know it's for their safety, but, it's like, we don't send our children to school and think that they're going to not come back home because
Absolutely.
they got to be like somebody brought a gun to school. And the thing about it is, when the situation had arisen, there was a time when I was in high school, and I remember they had called an assembly, and all of the young troublemakers, if you will, people that was known for fighting in games or whatever, they were all called to the assembly. And at that time, the mayor of our city, Larry Langford, who actually happened to be serving an 800-year sentence in the state of Alabama, he came into our school, and I actually had the privilege of knowing this man, being invited to his home and seeing him. He was very active in the community, where he would come out to come to our school and bring the police department and bring guns into the school and show us, like, listen, if you guys want to go out here and think you want to be tough and think you want to be a gangster, we got a cell waiting for you, or worse. And he kind of like scared us straight in a sense. And, he kind of really tried to give us some other, some scenarios that could happen, if you end up going out there and you hurt somebody, or, trying to be tough, and, it can really take your life away from you. Even if you do live through the situation, you still got to deal with the police. You still got to deal with the law, if you will. And so, there's really no escape from it. And the thing about it is, the only thing that I can see is really more people becoming more involved in a situation where, if some situation is going on in your school, like, I totally don't want to lie. I don't like, for example, kids, they saying it was a bullying situation when you got kids, they talk about each other and make fun of each other and all that kind of stuff. Like, even when I was in school, I never liked that.
Right.
If somebody will say something to me, I'll be ready to, knock they block off, because I'm like, listen, I'm not bothering you, man. Why I want to make you think you can come and talk about me and tell me something? I'm minding my own business. And so, that's like it's like a social norm for young children to haze each other, to talk about each other and make fun of each other. And I really feel like that's something that it starts at home. And in our household, like, I don't allow for the children. If I hear them talk to each other, calling each other names or whatever, or laughing at each other, making fun of each other, I don't. I try to talk to them like, listen, you ain't perfect. What makes you think you get the right to talk about somebody else? And so, I try to get in the mirror and, let them see the shoe on the other foot. And that's one of the ways in which I feel like, as parents, when we see our children doing these type of things, and adults do it too, where it's okay, and it's like, it's not okay, it's not even funny, it's not fun. And, you don't know how a person is going to respond. You don't know what that person is dealing with, and they can just easily be triggered off into doing something that could cost them their life or somebody else's, just because, people are just using words, towards one another in a negative way. And, I don't think that's work life, in my opinion. So,
I mean, I agree. So I guess it really just sounds as if the art of conflict resolution has died off, because almost a little bit with the art of conversation and communication.
Yeah, I agree. And instead, even when you raised, when we were brought up, somebody put their hands on you. The first thing your parents tell you do, don't let nobody put their hands on you. You know what I mean? And I had to learn, because I used to fight so much. I try to tell my kids, I was like, man, let that always be the last resort. And you could usually diffuse the situation. Because a lot of times these young kids, man, they trying to earn a name, a reputation, and they got a lot of testosterone. It's not as many activities going on. Maybe they could be redirecting that energy into something positive, but instead, they listening to the rap. These rappers out here talking about, in every song, they talking about killing each other, killing somebody, selling drugs, getting high, that kind of stuff. And eventually, even the good kids, can get subliminally programmed into doing some dumb stuff, and that's really outside of their character, just because it's a social norm that to kill people. And I think that the whole society plays a part in that. And so I think it comes from house, absolutely from the household for one, but then in the school systems, like, we need to be doing a better job curbing these situations, these little silly arguments and different things like that, where it's not cool to talk about somebody, where it's not cool to feel like you're going to pick up a gun and shoot somebody because, even if a person hits you, like, learn how to fight, take some karate classes or something, learn how to protect yourself, because even if you were like, carried a gun legally, there's still laws that are in place that you gotta follow. If you don't follow those laws, even with a gun permit, you can end up yourself in prison. And it could be self-defense. So we need to be educating ourselves, educating our children about what they're going to be facing if they decide to go out here and try to live, cowboy and Indian style. So that's all I'm gonna say about them. But
I think it sounds as if you said a mouthful. And again, I like the fact that you said with the conflict resolution and being able to get back into it and learning the art of it, so to speak. And that goes from not only from the youth, but also from a lot of adults, because they don't know it as well. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a slight break, pay a few bills, listen to a little bit of music. So don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back. You're listening to A New Day. And I'm your host, Juicy J.
Mr. Bay.